Welcome to a new Tech Systems at Automation Solution Go on RINC 2026. Discover how we integrate cutting-edge technology to seamlessly transform your factory operations. Enable secure, reliable connectivity with cellular, networking, and wireless solutions. Monitor, manage, and secure your infrastructure from anywhere with remote management. Visit a new Tech Systems at booth 13.
Hello everyone, Bangkok Automation Singapore will be at Automation Solution Go 2026 on the 29th and the 30th of July. Drop by our booth to learn how our P-Series control technology and automation hardware can help you build smarter, more efficient and future-ready machines. We can't wait to meet you and discuss your automation needs. See you there!
Hello everyone, I'm Jeff. I'm the sales head for industrial automation of Malaysia and Singapore of Delta Electronics. Delta Electronics has a very highly diversified portfolio of technologies. It's divided into 4 categories: power electronics, mobility, infrastructure, and automation. We are from industrial automation and proudly to introduce our business group to you. So we have a very diversified industrial automation offering, includes motion and control system, robotics arm, industrial digitization and AI systems, advanced equipment for electronics and semiconductor manufacturing, as well as manufacturing operation energy management system.
The world is changing faster than ever. Robotics and artificial intelligence are reshaping how we live, work, and connect. In Singapore, we believe the future is not built by machines alone, but by people and ideas that move the world forward. At the National Robotics Program, we grow Singapore's robotics and embodied AI ecosystem, connecting innovators and turning ideas into real-world impact. From hosting global gatherings like ROSCON 2025 in Singapore, to powering national initiatives like Robotics Middleware Framework, we are creating a trusted ecosystem for robotics and embodied AI to thrive. Together, we can build a smarter and safer Singapore. Because the future of robotics isn't replacing humans, it's about amplifying what we can achieve together.
Introduce SmartScope M-Series multi-sensor metrology systems powered by Zone 3 metrology software. Get scalable technology that adds flexibility to meet today and tomorrow's needs. With SmartScope M-Series, with one multi-sensor system, you'll not only save on training, but you'll also decrease downtime, simplify maintenance, address multiple use cases, and so much more. Are you ready to measure fast and manufacture faster?
Material movement isn't just transport. It's what keeps operations moving. That's why Sesto Robotics automates material movement in warehouse, helping hospital staff to deliver meals efficiently and keeping semiconductor workflows moving. Rethink the way your materials move.
Welcome to a new Tech Systems at Automation Solution Go on RINC 2026. Discover how we integrate cutting-edge technology to seamlessly transform your factory operations. Enable secure, reliable connectivity with cellular, networking, and wireless solutions. Monitor, manage, and secure your infrastructure from anywhere with remote management. Visit a new Tech Systems at booth 13.
Hello everyone, Bangkok Automation Singapore will be at Automation Solution Go 2026 on the 29th and the 30th of July. Drop by our booth to learn how our P-Series control technology and automation hardware can help you build smarter, more efficient and future-ready machines. We can't wait to meet you and discuss your automation needs. See you there!
Hello everyone, I'm Jeff. I'm the sales head for industrial automation of Malaysia and Singapore of Delta Electronics. Delta Electronics has a very highly diversified portfolio of technologies. It's divided into 4 categories: power electronics, mobility, infrastructure, and automation. We are from industrial automation and proudly to introduce our business group to you. So we have a very diversified industrial automation offering, includes motion and control system, robotics arm, industrial digitization and AI systems, advanced equipment for electronics and semiconductor manufacturing, as well as manufacturing operation energy management system.
The world is changing fast. Robotics and artificial intelligence are reshaping how we live, work, and connect. In Singapore, we believe the future is not built by machines alone, but by people and ideas that move the world forward. At the National Robotics Program, we grow Singapore's robotics and embodied AI ecosystem, connecting innovators and turning ideas into real-world impact. From hosting global gatherings like ROSCON 2025 in Singapore, to powering national initiatives like Robotics Middleware Framework, we are creating a trusted ecosystem for robotics and embodied AI to thrive. Together, we can build a smarter and safer Singapore. Because the future of robotics isn't replacing humans, it's about amplifying what we can achieve together.
Introduce SmartScope M-Series multi-sensor metrology systems. Powered by Zone 3 metrology software. Get scalable technology that adds flexibility to meet today and tomorrow's needs. With SmartScope M-Series, with one multi-sensor system, you'll not only save on training, but you'll also decrease downtime, simplify maintenance, address multiple use cases, and so much more. Are you ready to measure fast and manufacture faster?
Material movement isn't just transport. It's what keeps operations moving. That's why Sesto Robotics automates material movement in warehouse, helping hospital staff to deliver meals efficiently and keeping semiconductor workflows moving. Rethink the way your materials move.
Welcome to a new Tech Systems at Automation Solution Go on RINC 2026. Discover how we integrate cutting-edge technology to seamlessly transform your factory operations. Enable secure, reliable connectivity with cellular, networking, and wireless solutions. Monitor, manage, and secure your infrastructure from anywhere with remote management. Visit a new Tech Systems at booth 13.
Hello everyone, Bangkok Automation Singapore will be at Automation Solution Go 2026 on the 29th and the 30th of July. Drop by our booth to learn how our P-Series control technology and automation hardware can help you build smarter, more efficient, and future-ready machines. We can't wait to meet you and discuss your automation needs. See you there!
Hello everyone, I'm Jeff. I'm the sales head for industrial automation of Malaysia and Singapore of Delta Electronics. Delta Electronics has a very highly diversified portfolio of technologies. It's divided into 4 categories: power electronics, mobility, infrastructure, and automation. We are from industrial automation and proudly to introduce our business group to you. So we have a very diversified industrial automation offering, includes motion and control system, robotics arm, industrial digitization and AI systems, advanced equipment for electronics and semiconductor manufacturing, as well as manufacturing operation energy management system.
Robotics and artificial intelligence are reshaping how we live, work, and connect. In Singapore, we believe the future is not built by machines alone, but by people and ideas that move the world forward. At the National Robotics Program, we grow Singapore's robotics and embodied AI ecosystem, connecting innovators and turning ideas into real-world impact. From hosting global gatherings like ROSCON 2025 in Singapore, to powering national initiatives like Robotics Middleware Framework, we are creating a trusted ecosystem for robotics and embodied AI to thrive. Together, we can build a smarter and safer Singapore. Because the future of robotics isn't replacing humans, it's about amplifying what we can achieve together.
Introduce SmartScope M-Series multi-sensor metrology systems powered by Zone 3 metrology software. Get scalable technology that adds flexibility to meet today and tomorrow's needs. With SmartScope M-Series, with one multi-sensor system, you'll not only save on training, but you'll also decrease downtime, simplify maintenance, address multiple use cases, and so much more. Are you ready to measure fast and manufacture faster?
Material movement isn't just transport. It's what keeps operations moving. That's why Sesto Robotics automates material movement in warehouse, helping hospital staff to deliver meals efficiently and keeping semiconductor workflows moving. Rethink the way your materials move.
Welcome to a new Tech Systems at Automation Solution Go on RINC 2026. Discover how we integrate cutting-edge technology to seamlessly transform your factory operations. Enable secure, reliable connectivity with cellular, networking, and wireless solutions. Monitor, manage, and secure your infrastructure from anywhere with remote management. Visit a new Tech Systems at booth 13.
Hello everyone, Bangkok Automation Singapore will be at Automation Solution Go 2026 on the 29th and the 30th of July. Drop by our booth to learn how our PC-based control technology and automation hardware can help you build smarter, more efficient and future-ready machines. We can't wait to meet you and discuss your automation needs. See you there!
Hello everyone, I'm Jeff. I'm the sales head for industrial automation of Malaysia and Singapore of Delta Electronics. Delta Electronics has a very highly diversified portfolio of technologies. It's divided into 4 categories: power electronics, mobility, infrastructure, and automation. We are from industrial automation and proudly to introduce our business group to you. So we have a very diversified industrial automation offering, includes motion and control system, robotics arm, industrial digitization and AI systems, advanced equipment for electronics and semiconductor manufacturing, as well as manufacturing operation energy management system.
The world is changing faster than ever. Robotics and artificial intelligence are reshaping how we live, work, and connect. In Singapore, we believe the future is not built by machines alone, but by people and ideas that move the world forward. At the National Robotics Program, we grow Singapore's robotics and embodied AI ecosystem, connecting innovators and turning ideas into real-world impact. From hosting global gatherings like ROSCON 2025 in Singapore, to powering national initiatives like Robotics Middleware Framework, we are creating a trusted ecosystem for robotics and embodied AI to thrive. Together, we can build a smarter and safer Singapore. Because the future of robotics isn't replacing humans, it's about amplifying what we can achieve together.
introduced SmartScope M Series multi-sensor metrology systems powered by Zone 3 metrology software. Get scalable technology that adds flexibility to meet today and tomorrow's needs. With SmartScope M Series, with one multi-sensor system, you'll not only save on training, but you'll also decrease downtime, simplify maintenance, address multiple use cases, and so much more. Are you ready to measure fast and manufacture faster?
Material movement isn't just transport. It's what keeps operations moving. That's why Sesto Robotics automates material movement in warehouse, helping hospital staff to deliver meals efficiently and keeping semiconductor workflows moving. Rethink the way your materials move.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Day 2 of Automation Solution Go and the Regional Industry Networking Conference 2026, brought to you by Singapore Polytechnic and Automation SG. I trust that you have had a good lunch, got to exchange some name cards, and managed to visit the exhibition booths. My name is Carmen from the SV School of Life Skills and Communication, and it is my honor to be your MC for today's program. Before we begin, we kindly request that you switch your mobile devices to silent mode. For your safety, please take note of the emergency exits located to your left and right. Now to officially kick off our day, let's take a moment to watch a brief video outlining the Convention Center's safety procedures. We hope you found Day 1 enriching. Today, we look forward to continuing the conversation with another full agenda featuring fresh insights, practical case studies, and meaningful networking opportunities. To kick things off, I would like to welcome Ms. Christine Moe, Vice President, Global Market and Ecosystem, AI Square Robotics, to deliver her keynote address. As AI models and robotics converge, how should hardware and software be co-designed? What commercial strategies can achieve scalable deployment to empower thousands of industries and enter millions of households? Christine will explicate for us in this sharing. Christine, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Christine. I'm the VP of Global Market and Ecosystem at AI Square Robotics. It's a tremendous honor to be here at the Automation SG at the Singapore Polytech. And today I'm going to be sharing with you what we believe as the fourth generation of intelligent device, general purpose intelligent robots. And I also wanted to mention that We are able to also bring in our robots, AlphaBot, at the event today. So it is actually located outside together with the NRP booth. So if you haven't come across our booth, feel free to stop by later after this keynote. Before I begin, the organizer also told me that to mention that I know the flyer went out saying that our CEO and founder, Dr. Eric Goh, was supposed to be here, but unfortunately he's unable to join us, so you guys will get to stuck with me for the next 15 minutes. I hopefully will be able to share something interesting with you about what we're doing with our robots. So over the past few decades, we see different generations of intelligent device. We went from traditional phones to smartphone, to traditional vehicle and smart vehicle. And each generation of intelligent device has changed our life and the way we work tremendously. It provides a higher quality of life, gives us more productivity. And from now, we think that the next generation of intelligent device is going to be the general purpose intelligent robots. And we're not building this robot from just a hardware perspective, but we're together building a brain for the robots, robot intelligence that makes it capable of understanding the physical world around it and to be able to understand commands from human and to do a lot of different things in different scenarios with a unified humanoid form. So we're building these robots to really address the structured labor shortage we see everywhere. Today in China, we're facing a 30 million labor shortage in blue-collar works. One of our manufacturing clients came to us and tell us that after Chinese New Year this year, 30% of their workers decide not to go back to the factories. So a lot of the young people nowadays, they're looking for more flexible work. They no longer want to work for long hours in these factories in a closed environment. They rather wanted to take on some of the more flexible jobs as a content creator, delivery person, or other jobs. So I think this problem is also very relevant to Singapore. Here, we're facing an aging population, so it really presents a very unique idea for us to explore embodied robotic solution. And second, we see that there's still a lot of jobs that are taken in a very hazardous environment. For instance, we look at some of the use case in logistic ports, and we see workers working in environments where there are huge containers flying everywhere above their head, and it's just scary to be there, but they're working all day long in these kind of settings. And there's a continuous demand for social service to continue to grow. Now we have everything is being coming in a much faster speed. We want to get our delivery much faster. We want to get our service with a much better quality. So the general purpose robot they're building that's really to address these challenge and to extend human capability where labor is scarce and these tasks are hazardous and service capacity is inefficient. So we're looking to build a robot, but what should the robot be like? We believe the robot needs to, it doesn't necessarily have to look like a human, but it needs to work like a human. So there are three key elements we believe the robots need to be like in order to work like a human. First is to have a very powerful brain to understand the things that we want them to do and the physical environments. And second, it needs to have dexterous manipulation and with its arm, and it needs to move independently. And And with the robots in this humanoid form, then we need to start building a brain for the robots. We have went through different generations of innovation and exploring the architecture for the robot intelligence. We have went from integrated intelligence, where we integrate the perception of the robot together with instruction, translate into action, the VLA model that allows and enables the robots to adopt and to perform the tasks that it hasn't previously seen. And then we have went on to developing a dual system architecture. It's called a fast and slow system. So it relies on fast action and slow reasoning. And we have also integrated with a very popular model when we talk about physical intelligence these days, the world model. So what the world model comes in place is that it helps predict what happens in the physical world based on some characteristics, so the robots can react to the physical world accordingly. But we believe that for robots to really achieve real intelligence, we need to build a brain that is similar to how a human brain works. So our latest work is revolving around a brain-inspired intelligence system. It's called the NeuroVLA. So with the NeuroVLA, there are a few things that our robots is able to do. First, it's able to learn much faster. With a traditional foundation model, it would take up a lot of data and computing power to train a model. But with a brain-inspired structure, we're able to train the model with less data and with lower energy consumption. And second, with the brain-inspired model, the robot will have memory. Let's say if it's seen something over there and then later it's being blocked, it still remembers there's an object behind it. And the third part is that the brain-inspired model, the robots will then able to learn by its own. So it's kind of how human works. Is so we have natural reflexes that we react to certain things that doesn't naturally goes to thinking, and we also continue to learn from there. And with the embodied foundation model, we're also building an open ecosystem that enables the developers to also build their embodied foundation model. This is what we have launched. It's called the Alpha Brain Platform. It is an open embodied intelligent foundation open source community for developers who are interested in exploring building their own application on top of our robots. And just last month, we were invited at the United Nations Open Source Conference, where we introduced this open source community there. And it also happens that our AlphaBot is the first humanoid robots to have entered the United Nations headquarters. So what we're doing is really trying to lower the barrier for innovations for innovators and researchers worldwide. And we come about how we build this robot hardware. We have the advantage of leveraging China's supply chain to build a reliable platform for our robots for the real world. So we are able to access full mature supply chain from smart device, smart vehicle, to drones to build our robots. And we approach the hardware with a wheel-based two-armed humanoids. I think it has becoming an industry consensus that this is the most reliable and commercial valid hardware platform for real-world operation that combines mobility together with luxurious handling. And this is what you see on the screen is also, this is our AlphaBot 2. And it has continuous operation and reliable performance. And it's also able to perform safe interaction in some of the public service setting. And we have already achieved scalable mass production. And the most important part is putting this robot to work. So we can't just wait until one day the robots become super smart before we start using them, but we need to find use cases and application for our robots that are most suitable for its current capability. So what we have identified very early on, we have developed use case for industry service, which we believe to has the highest commercial value. A lot of these robots are working in a structured environment, in this industrial manufacturing settings. You have a fixed workflow and the condition is relatively controlled. So we have robots working in automotive, semiconductor manufacturing, and also in biotech manufacturing, doing some material handling and logistic related work. And now we have also put our robots into public service, which we believe to have the highest growth potential. We have our robots, we have launched this smart retail service. It's called the Alphabot Cube, where our robots are serving coffee and ice cream to the public. We have deployed them in 7 different provinces across 20, we have 22 operating sites. So our robots are making 100 cups of coffee on a daily basis with 0 error. And this is also a commitment that we have to the public to let them see our robots in work and also inspire the next generation about what the robots can do in our society. And of course, another huge use case, household service, is the North Star that we wanted to achieve. I think everybody would want to have one of the robots at home handling some of the chores that you don't want to do. This is something that we wanted to achieve eventually as we continue to upgrade the intelligence of the robots until one day it is smart enough to maneuver around your house. So next I wanted to show a video of where we have already put our robots to work in a real world setting. So this comes to almost the end of our presentation, but these are the 3 key elements we believe is extremely important to really have our robots be valuable in our society. Without AI, the robots are just hardware, and without hardware, the AI will just exist in our computer as lines of codes. But without real scenario, the robots will just remain as a lab demo or videos. So we're really combining the 3 key elements together to accelerate the adaptation of robots in our real world. And this is our vision, is to make general purpose robots as accessible as smart car and smartphone and become a universal device for everyone. And we won't be able to do this alone. And Singapore has the most innovative, forward-thinking ecosystem for advanced manufacturing and technology adaptation. So we're really looking to work with smart people here, partners, system integrator who also see the future where our robots can be a huge asset to our society. So happy to connect with everyone here, and feel free to stop by our booth after these events this afternoon. Thank you so much. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Christine, for that insightful sharing about 4th generation intelligent devices and how they can solve our pressing labor challenges. It amazes me to think about the numerous possibilities of what robots can do across various sectors and work scenarios. Another big round of applause for Ms. Christine. Next up, to begin our industry presentation segment, please join me in welcoming Mr. Karthik Arunachalam, Principal ESG Consultant, Delta Electronics, Inc. This presentation posits that the future industrial environment will require AI-native factories, impose stricter carbon and cyber standards, and forge greater ecosystem collaboration. Let's hear more from him in this presentation. Mr. Arunachalam, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to Singapore Poly and Automation SG for giving us a chance to present to the honorable audience here. So without further ado, I'll move forward. So just to quickly introduce myself, I'm an ESG consultant from Delta Electronics. I'll briefly share about Delta Electronics and what an ESG consultant is doing in Delta Electronics, which is an automation company, all right? So this will be my agenda here. You might see that I'm talking a little bit faster because I was told time is very strictly monitored, yeah? I'll be talking about the industrial trilemma. The previous speech ended off with the trilemma, and now I'll start off with the trilemma as well. And move on to talk about Delta Electronics best practices in our net zero journey, how we established a smart and green portfolio for our own operations. And I will move on to talk about some success stories of green smart factories, how we work with the industry to develop such green smart factories, and what is the future industrial environment looking like, right? So, talking about the trilemma, industries of the future and even industries currently, they are grappling with ensuring cybersecurity is enabled, protecting critical infrastructure from intensifying IT as well as increasingly OT threats. And not just that, factories are expected to be smart as well as green. They need to meet the carbon policy pressures, buyer expectations, as well as end customer expectations on zero carbon or low carbon initiatives that needs to be in place. And beyond that, we are also exposed to increasing energy cost volatilities, as we saw during the recent Middle East crisis. Cost of energy skyrocketed. A lot of companies that we are working with really had to halt production. Not just energy cost increased, the cost of raw materials also had to increase. They need to realign their supply chains and ensure they are able to move forward in a resilient manner. So operational resilience becomes more and more critical moving forward as geopolitical issues are closely intertwined, right? And when we are going about this, we have a tailwind on our side. AI going mainstream, AI enabling a lot of use cases, not just in the office settings, but also in the factory settings, and with physical AI even replacing hazardous work environments with robotics. And the headwind that we are having is labor and skills shortage. As we also saw earlier, the young generation prefers a more flexible environment, and a lot of the job attrition is also happening in a lot of companies. So knowledge retention and skills retention is becoming a big issue, and new systems that are being developed need to enable this knowledge management at site. So on your left-hand side, you see the ambition is clear. All factories want to be smart. All factories want to be green and energy efficient, resilient and flexible, operate as a unified system, and have a one-stop solution provider who is able to seamlessly integrate the various systems. The ambition is clear. But when it comes to execution, what do we have in reality? We have various automation vendors. We have energy suppliers, renewable energy certificate providers. Energy, you also have brown energy and renewable energy providers. And on the software side, we have various software vendors. Also on the carbon management software, energy software, as well as the complete MES, manufacturing execution systems layers, right? You have different vendors. And then you have AI analytics almost evolving exclusively and not integrated with the rest of the ecosystem, right? And you have system integrators willing to work with various vendors, but they are also separately operating, right? And you have sustainability consultants, typically small boutique consulting firms, as well as big fours on the other end of the spectrum. All of this is happening, but it's in bits and pieces and very fragmented. And there, as a result, there is no single owner of the outcome, and there is poor data exchange between systems, also, although we are solving that with open protocol communications, right? And because of this, uncertain ROI and high CapEx, and this integration gap is where time, CapEx, ROI, everything falls through the crack, right? How do we look forward to address this situation? So at this point, I will go on to talk about Delta Electronics. We are a Taiwanese company. You saw some videos while you were waiting before the speeches, right? So a small correction here, due to the recent AI sell-off, we are no longer number 2, we are number 3. Number 3 in Taiwan as a listed company in terms of our market capital. Global manufacturing sites. We own and operate manufacturing sites. We also own and operate office buildings and R&D centers with a global employee strength of around 80,000, right? And which businesses we are in, you might have seen this picture before. We started off as a power electronics manufacturing company, mainly providing thermal management, power management solutions, but we have diversified to provide mobility solutions. We are one of the large regional manufacturers of EV infrastructure, EV charging infrastructure. We are also a leading industrial automation and building automation solution provider. Some of our industrial automation solutions you can visit at our booth outside. And increasingly, we are also working largely with the data center segment. We provide ICT solutions. Naturally, as a thermal management and a power management company, we lend ourselves to the data center segment, right? And we also provide a lot of energy infrastructure solutions. This includes battery energy storage, solid state transformers, as well as solid oxide fuel cells. Let's shortly see how all of this can come together when you are implementing a smart and green factory or a building, right? So why am I here in Delta, although I'm an ESG consultant? In Delta, all the business units that we saw, our product lines and offerings, we have to ensure that there is a sustainability value proposition in all our offers and products that we are bringing to the market. For us, our business development is aligned with our ESG commitment. So what is our ESG commitment looking like? As you can see on the top side, we were one of the early adopters of science-based targets. We started committing to it as early as 2017. We set up the 2-degree science target, and then we achieved it well ahead of our timeline of 2025. Even before 2025, we achieved our targets, and in 2021, we set the latest net zero standard that was launched in 2021. And as per the standard, as you can see on the top side, 1.5C aligned, scope 1 and 2, absolute reduction, not by buying carbon credits or just renewable credits. We absolute reduction by 90% by 2030 for our scope 1 and 2, and 25% of scope 3 by 2030. And by 2050, we want to be 90% reduction of our complete emissions compared to our baseline of 2021. Right? So when we set such ambitious targets, how do we drive it down across our various asset portfolios? Like I said, right, we also operate factories, we also own and operate buildings, we also have green data centers. We distribute targets for various assets that we operate. And then we continuously implement these energy reduction, carbon reduction measures across our factories using the PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act approach aligned with ISO 50001, right? So we start off by setting annual targets, annual KPI and targets, continuously identify energy saving projects. We have a centralized energy management team that actually visits all of our factories, all of our buildings on a regular basis to identify continuously energy saving projects, figure out the commercial, techno-commercial viability of these projects, develop an implementation plan, continuously monitor energy saving that comes out of these projects, and then the impact that these projects generate, and improve this approach continuously to ensure that it is a closed loop process that we strive to implement across our own portfolio of factories and buildings. So how do we then take this to market, right? How do we work with our clients? So I've shared with you a case study, challenges IT-OT integration complexity, especially in a legacy factory, which is a very standard problem, right? Securing stable supply of renewables, maximizing rooftop on-site renewables, and then addressing the various stakeholders. Stakeholder management is a key challenge that we always try to work with our clients to sort out, right? And this is our approach: conduct collaborative energy workshops and inventorization of the carbon, identify carbon reduction, offsetting, energy efficiency upgrades, Wherever we can provide our solution stack, we will support our clients with that. Other than that, we also reach out to the market to identify independent solutions and seek whatever certifications that are appropriate for the purposes. Similarly, another factory, an example of how we implemented Plan, Do, Check, Act for continuous improvement. And as you can see, we reduced the energy intensity by 33%, saving over 7 gigawatt hours annually of energy consumption. So there is commercial case in being energy efficient, in being ESG compliant. So now talking about our solution stack, to present it in a very simple manner, connected devices and sensing instrumentation at the bottom, communication network in the middle, management and AI-enabled optimization in the top. So this is how we approach energy management and industrial automation in factories. So let's see how it looks like in a green factory decarbonization setting. For decarbonization in green factories, we always start off with reduce energy consumption, go lean first, right? And then you look at how do we electrify outstanding scope 1 emissions, because electrified processes are also better controllable, electrified processes are also more efficient. And last, we try to see how we can replace brown energy with green energy using our various control solutions as well as our advisory service to buy renewables in an optimized manner. And similarly, for a green microgrid, same thing, start off with energy saving solutions. Monitor your energy consumption first, solid state transformers to bring inherent efficiency from import from the grid, and various control to optimize your demand side. BESS and microgrid control for electrifying energy, and continuously using renewable energy. Once you have electrified, replace brown energy with renewable energy using solid oxide fuel cell and solar PV solutions that we have. So this is how a solution stack looks like, starting off with reduce, electrify, and then replace. When we talk about energy management, it is always supply side as well as demand side optimization with our solutioning. And this is another layout of how our solutions are interplaying, starting all the way from power generation until sustainable and efficient and renewable end use. So how do we do it for our clients? We take a 3-step approach. We start off with consulting, we supply the digital solutions, and we implement all the decarbonization solutions that you just saw. So we bring domain consulting to our clients, and that is where I am coming from, green building certification, green factory certification, developing the complete solution architecture. A software without a solution architecture is missing the piece in the puzzle, as I shared earlier, right? And we act as a one-stop project service for complete system integration. Some of the clients that we worked with, some of the projects that we have deployed. And on the digitalization side, we provide the digital platforms that are increasingly AI-enabled. In this case, we are talking about an energy management platform to serve the various energy management use cases in a factory, and also to get you the necessary green factory, green building certifications. I'll go a little bit faster. We already talked about decarbonization solutions earlier, how we provide the reduced solutions, how we provide the electrified solutions, replace solutions, as well as once all of it is done, how do we also help our clients to offset outstanding emissions to achieve carbon neutrality or net zero certification. So this is how we also work with our clients to provide the complete stack of energy management. When you just have the software stack is not enough. You need to have the right metering devices, the right control solutions with the VSD inverters, and you need to bring the data of the factory shop floor into the control layer where you're able to provide the right communication architecture to bring the data eventually onto the management layer. In the control layer, we provide all the edge controllers like the SCADA systems as well as active edge controllers. And on the management layer is where our energy management platform sits, increasingly with AI-enabled capabilities and use cases. I'll go a little faster. So here we are talking about how cybersecurity is enabled in our products. 3 approaches: security by design, continuously assessing and hardening our systems by checking for vulnerabilities, penetration testing, continuously reporting cases, and then complying to the current regulations, EU Cyber Resilience Act, as well as other operational hardening on an ongoing basis. So this is how we ensure cybersecurity across all our solutions and products. So what is the future of the factories going to look like? Factories are going to be more and more AI native, probably with physical AI as well, as was shared earlier. All factories are going to have the impetus to power to net zero, decouple production from carbon footprint, and factories need to be resilient, both to geopolitical pressures as well as energy prices and energy price fluctuations. So this is how we view factories of future are going to be structured. I want to leave you with a white paper, which you can scan from the QR code, where we talk in detail about how we enable smart, green, and resilient factories for our partners and clients. If you'd like to know more about how Delta is working with our clients, please feel free to reach out to me or one of our colleagues at the booth outside. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Arunachalam. I've learned so much from you about green manufacturing. It is indeed challenging and pertinent for us to think about how we can move forward in technological advancement while ensuring sustainability and achieving energy efficiency. We now turn our attention to the next segment of today's program, our plenary panel discussion. This panel brings together perspectives across the automation value chain to focus on what matters most, delivering automation and embodied AI solutions that perform in real-world operations and drive measurable results. Anchored by real-world scenarios shaped by resource constraints, it explores key decisions, trade-offs, and collaborations influencing cost readiness, ROI, and long-term sustainability, offering a grounded view of how robotics and embodied AI move from strategy to execution. We are honored to be joined by a distinguished panel of experts who will share their insights, experiences, and ideas. Before we meet our panelists, allow me to introduce our moderator for this session. Please welcome Mr. Ng Chor Chen, Secretary of Automation SG. With each panelist bringing a unique perspective and valuable expertise, it is now my pleasure to introduce our speakers. Mr. Chan Eugene, Ms. Samato, Dr. Yen Liang Zhang, and Mr. Helio Cardoso. Let us give them all a warm round of applause. With that, I will hand the time over to Chor Chen from Automation SG, who will lead today's conversation.
Thank you very much. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the very last event of Automation Solution Go. I'm sure you guys have been enjoying yourself very much over the last 2 days. If there's any one universal truth that's been echoed throughout this Automation Solution Go event, it is this, right? Buying technology, that's the easy part. Making it work in the real-life, messy, unpredictable, high-stakes environment, that's the scary part. All right, my name is George Ang, and I'm the CEO of Sesto Robotics. But today I'm speaking to you wearing the hat of being the Secretary and also Council Member of Automation SG. As CEO of Sesto Robotics, trying to scale technology is a daily challenge I face. And today I have with me a great panel, which I'll introduce very shortly. As part of our Automation SG mandate, we try to foster an ecosystem, right, where we bring together technology providers, IHLs, government agencies, right, as well as end users to collaborate together, to come together, to work together, to solve these challenges together. All right, which brings us to the core of today's session. Our topic is from idea to impact, implementing viable automation solutions for real-world operations. All right, we're going to talk about the Valley of Death, which I'm sure many of you know about. Is that perilous journey, right, where automation projects need to take from flawless, scripted, right, POCs, and sometimes we watch them on YouTube videos, all the way to a scalable, robust system that gives good ROI to the end user and the customers. To unpack this, we have curated a very distinguished panel to represent the entire automation value chain. All right, driving our national strategy and translating research into commercial reality, we have Mr. Chan Eugene, Director of National Robotics Program. And then next to him, we have Ms. Samato, representing the foundational semiconductor innovations that make these intelligent systems possible. And Ms. Samato is the Senior Director at Infineon Technologies, Asia Pacific. Next, bridging the gap between cutting-edge academia and market-ready production, we have Dr. Zhang, Chief Scientist at Western Robot, and is also an adjunct associate professor at NUS. And finally, last but not least, we have Helio Cardoso, Director of Applied Materials, who represents, I guess in general, the tough, demanding world of the end user, especially in advanced manufacturing. So, and of course, including myself from the trade association, Automation SG, I think we represent almost the entire value chain of the automation world. Can you please join me to have a round of applause for my panel? All right, great. So to kick off this session, my very first question for my good friend, Mr. Eugene. The question here is, translational funding plays a massive role in moving concepts out of IHLs, Institute of Higher Learnings. From your perspective at NRP, where do you see the most frequent disconnects between R&D from our IHLs and the practical demands of industry? And how do we better align these efforts?
Sure. Thanks, Josh. It's great to be here. So hello, everyone. So the question is, where's the biggest disconnect between the R&D players and industry? I think if you break it down to its purest form, right? When leading researchers perform R&D, they generally perform R&D with no regard to cost, right? Because it is the greatest pursuit of knowledge, right? So it's pursuit of knowledge at zero cost or at no regard to cost. And then at the other end, you have businesses who, payback and ROI is foremost and topmost, right? So I think as a starting point, that is already different. So the expectations on both sides, if you really think about it down to its purest form, is this, right? It's that exploration of knowledge to know without regard for cost, and cost is the most paramount factor in all our considerations. That's the starting point. And if you look even further down and dive even deeper, the ending point sometimes also look very different to the two different parties, right? What success looks like to a researcher could be, I'm in this to write a paper and be famous in my academic circles, or I go to a conference, or I get my tenure, or whatever that is, right? Whatever that pursuit is. And success for a company looks very different, right? It's, can this work? Can it help me to increase my efficiency, or help me to increase my productivity, or to reduce my error rates, or whatever that business goal is. So in my opinion, in an essence, those are the biggest disconnects, if any, when it comes to these two groups of people. And I think that's where we exist, to try and find a middle ground or common ground. That's what the NRP does. We help to end users to de-risk the cost of automation, and we help bridge the two worlds together. That's where we operate, right? In that zone. Yeah. Thanks.
That's a great, wonderful insight, and I think I also do come across these experiences where the priorities of IHLs sometimes can be quite different. Although I would say these days for many IHLs, there's a push to be very involved with industry requirements, and students as well as the researchers are very much aligned to what the industry needs, right? So I think the alignment is getting closer and closer, which is a great trend. Okay, moving on to Ms. Samato. You work very closly with partners in the entire value chain to enable intelligent systems. So how critical is early stage collaboration at the component and semiconductor level amongst partners to ensure that downstream robotics and automation solutions are actually scalable and also perhaps energy efficient?
Right, thank you, George, for your questions. Thank you for having me as well. Definitely, when we talk about ecosystem, we actually name it right. In fact, at the panel speaker right now, we already have the whole entire ecosystem partners. And I can't emphasize more important that yesterday, like Moss Tan and even like Terence mentioned about all the ecosystem collaboration, people to come together. So there's no one solution that is being deployed by one company. It has to be a collaborative effort from all the different ecosystem partners, may it be manufacturers, may it be system integrators, academia, government agencies, etc. So that's why, let me answer this in two parts in terms of ecosystem before we go to scalabilities and then energy efficiencies. So at Infineon, in fact, we are very, very passionate about all these ecosystem partners, the startups, and that's the reason why that we are very involved and participating into activities like Automation Edge and NRP in Singapore. In Malaysia, we have with Meranti, then we have it in Seoul, in Korea, we have the Seoul startup, etc. So we believe that all the ecosystem partners should come together and make meaningful system solutions to drive the decarbonizations and the digitalizations in a very meaningful way. So as a matter of fact, even within Infineon, our physical office, we do have a co-innovation hub. So this is basically to also spur and to support some of the startups, and we host them free of charge in our office, and they get to also support by our technical as well as our technical support and all the equipments. So if any one of you, any startups who are keen, you can actually reach out to me as well to discuss further. That's definitely for the first part. And then about early collaborations is really, really important. And we talk about scalabilities and energy efficiencies. Because when we all collaborated early, in terms of ecosystem, in terms of the architecture, the systems, architectures, the requirements, the specification is very, very important because this must be done in the beginning. Likewise, for security as well, is so important. If not, it will be a very expensive lesson because by then, at the end, when you come up with solutions and you realize that, hey, there are certain things that you need to do a redesign that will be a very expensive experience, and then it will cost longer developments, etc. So in short, right, definitely early engagement, okay, and whereby look for trusted partners, whereby you can also talk about the specifications to achieve in terms of your energy efficiencies, in terms of securities, in terms of specifications. That is most important, yeah.
Great. And I can actually attest to this because on a personal basis, Sesto Robotics is actually a spin-off from Hope Technique. And about, I think, 7 years ago, there was actually a collaboration between IFX, Infineon, in Singapore, with Hope Technique to develop a autonomous mobile robot solutions for handling of back-end test systems materials. And this was a point in time 7, 8 years ago where, frankly, there were not too many AMR vendors providing standardized solutions in the market. And even material handling delivery robots was I would say, innovation project for many of these companies. And Infineon was very kind to partner with Hope Technique to collaborate, to give us the end user requirements, and patiently, I think, worked with Hope Technique to come up with the solution, which was actually utilized for a good, I think, 5 or 6 years. Yeah.
Okay, that's very cool, a very good success story already. Yeah.
Yes, so definitely Summer is not just talking about the concept, but there's real implementation. Okay, next on my panel I have Dr. Zhang, and I think Dr. Zhang's profile is very, very interesting because You're from academia, but yet you work in a commercial organization, which is Western Robotics. And for you being the guy in charge of research and development, right? I'm just very curious, and I'm sure everyone here is also very curious, that you operate at this intersection of research and yet commercialization of robotics, right? So how do you then, what are the toughest engineering and strategic compromises that you have to make, right, to ensure a robot can survive and add value in the unstructured real-world environment?
Sure, thank you. I think I really have a lot to say for all your questions. And I always joke with my students. Every year I recruit about 7 to 8 intern students from all over the world. And last week I brought them to American, I brought them to Malaysia to attend an event. And I always share with them, being in the field of robotics, you will learn a lot more from classroom and laboratory. So I try to address your questions from two perspectives. One is the engineering, one is the business. Engineering perspective is from the robotics market. Customers don't care how you build it, how you program it. They just care it must be working, right? So from this perspective, if you like a robot, typically like robot dog in Singapore you see very often. Typically for us to deploy a robot dog, the price is about USD 150K, right? The base is about USD 100K sometimes. Like, my friends often joke with me, hey, Dr. Zhang, like with USD 100K, buy the dummy robot dog, I can purchase 2 BMW X5, right? Why I purchase a robot dog which barely can do anything for my security patrolling, right? It's all because of the supply chain, right? In Singapore, we are very fortunate. Actually, before I returned to Singapore, I sleep in the factory at Dongguan for 2 years, right? So that's why we never underestimate the challenges of the supply chain. Okay, for robot dog, for example, or human, I use humanoid, for example, 29 degrees freedom. Okay, 29 of joint. Any of the parts, a cable, a sensor, fails, the robot will collapse. Okay, which means I won't buy robot for my family use in the next few years, although I sell robots. Okay, I don't want the robot to falling down in front of my kids or my parents. This is reality, right? Another example is, okay, every robot today comes with camera. But I can share with all of you, there are no camera companies building cameras for robots. Quite pathetic, right? They all build the cameras for the CCTV there, right? Because it's natural volume. But for us to sending the robot outside for patrolling, for safety inspection, I need a camera looking from this angle, not from this angle. But every 2 weeks, I fly to Shenzhen, to Hangzhou, to different part of China to search for the suppliers. They don't have, right? So to answer this question, the biggest challenge we face today is the supply chain. Technically, before this year, there is no supply chain for robotics, okay? We have supply chain for automotive, for semiconductor, even for scooter, right? Because every year they can sell 1 million of scooters, right? So in Singapore, we work with National Robotics Program and other agencies, try to build, I call it, in Chinese called 中转站, right? It's a small office in Shenzhen, in Dongguan, right? When our Singapore company purchased a sensor from Infineon, before they get it, we have small office in Dongguan. In China, we have Huaqiangbei, right? Basically, you can buy every electronics there. Instead of we ship the things from Huaqiangbei to Singapore, after you receive it, it doesn't work, right? The opportunity cost is very high. So we put a small office there to do validation, right? After it works, then we ship to Singapore for assembly. So to solve the supply chain issues, I think Singapore will be in a very good position. Last week, when we were in America and other countries, I really feel made in Singapore or made in China is kind of Chinese called 降维打击, right? I travel to so many places in the Western place. I feel our robot here are way, way better than the robot in other places in terms of the outlooking, okay? Software is another thing, okay? Because of the supply chain, we slowly catch up here. So this is the first challenge. The second one on the compromisation is the psychological. So every day, we receive 20 to 30 customers from different industry, carpentry, fish farm owner, construction. Each day, I reject 29 of them, if not 30 of them, right? Robot, not ready for them. But they watch too many TikTok videos, right? Each of our robot manufacturers publish very nice video. They shoot 100 times, maybe only one time works, then they publish it. And our lovely fellow Singaporeans, lovely fellow CEOs believe these videos, then they come to me, right? Their expectation is here, the reality is here, right? But the good thing is, the more I reject it, the more business I receive. They say, hey, Dr. Zhang, you are a good guy, right? So this is the reality. The reality, this morning, I sent 3 rejection emails. I say, please, don't spend single dollar and cents on this robot for your application. Just wait, right? Let a company like Infineon spend the money, right? Like Delta be the pilot. Like our lovely IHL, they have a lot of funding to do the research, right? I strongly recommend all of you don't waste money, right? Wait, okay? This is a compromise we have to do, but the good thing is that, as I said, the more we reject it, the more business we have received, right? So we kind of like really bring down expectation and bridge the gap in this industry.
Thank you, Dr. Zhang. I should tell my sales team to try that strategy. Turn down all the sales leads and more will come pouring in. But yes, definitely I can understand what you mean, because I do watch all these many TikToks and YouTubes, especially around robotic companies, humanoids and dogs and other forms of robotics. And it's very true that I think someone like Dr. Zhang has always been very honest and very open about managing expectations of what can be done with the current state of technology. But at the same time, I think referencing what the earlier speaker said, our company should always be striving for more and more innovation, right, to see how far we can bring this further. Okay, then now moving on to kind of like the harsh real world, where ROI is probably the be-all and end-all. We have Mr. Cardoso from Applied. So with a deep background in systems engineering and complex project delivery, you understand the importance of mapping out requirements. How can companies better utilize rigorous system engineering upfront to prevent the automation projects from failing during the implementation and scaling out phase? I know it's a long sentence, but I'm sure you get the gist of it.
Yeah, I'll try to simplify it and I'll try to address it the best I can. Thank you for the invite. Really happy to be here. So requirements. So I think it's well documented in a lot of studies that requirement analysis and requirement management is probably the highest return on investment activity anyone can make. And I think it's easy to understand and explain this, because if you imagine, if you try to fix something after you designed it, it probably cost you a few $100, because between design changes, design reviews, approvals, a few signatures, sign-offs, a few $100 have gone. If you find the problem after you've manufactured it, depending on what phase of, is it a prototype, is it series production, it can cost you anywhere from a few thousand to many thousand up to $1 million. And then if you actually find the problem after you deploy the solution, the costs can be multiplied by many millions depending on the size of your industry. So if you turn that into a requirement analysis review, when you have people sat on a table in the beginning of a project, discussing, talking to the stakeholders, like it has been said here, talking to the people on the field, and if you find a problem with the wording, changing that will cost you cents. So requirements, it's easily to understand. The more time and effort and money you throw at requirement analysis, the highest is the return that you may have in the success of your project. So I think it's easy to understand that it's money well spent training your staff and training your people in requirements management, requirement analysis, writing good requirements. Another thing that people sometimes in the common pitfalls that you'll find is that people, when they're trying to specify the product or thinking about requirements, they think about the operation phase of the life cycle of the product, because it's the high value when your machine is operating. But there's a whole life cycle of the product that can cause you a lot of problems. Transportability, maintainability, even end of cycle and disposal and replacement, software updates, part updates, corrective maintenance, preventive maintenance, all those things, they bring a lot of inputs to your product that can make or break the solution once it's fully operationalized. So think about your applications as a whole life of the product. So another thing which is understandable, we're going to be uncovering while doing these activities a lot of things about power supply, utilities, access routes, corridors. A lot of things are going to come up when you're doing this kind of exercises. So having said all this, another important thing is train your staff on how to write good requirements. And this is starting to become easier than ever because it's with AI. LLMs are great at this. The AI may not be great at a lot of things, but at writing and wording and learning patterns in speech, they are great. Also, find a standard on how and normalize the way you write requirements. EARS, INCOSE, ISO, whatever, pick one, but just stay consistent on how you write them. That's also something which has a lot of value added to all those things. But then you also don't need to figure out all these things on your own. There's a bunch of standards. Singapore is very proactive in terms of standards writing for automation and for robotics. So leverage the documentation out there, reach out to the entities, get all those things. Talk to consultants. Even if you engage consultants, one thing important is own your requirements. Have someone within your org which is accountable for the requirements. You can have a consultant which is someone who is here to do the heavy lifting, do the churning, do the work, but make someone in your company accountable for whatever requirements or specifications you write. And I think last but not least, talk to your end users. Talk to the people on the field. So Toyota has this thing that came from a long time, which is the Gensi Genbutsu. Go and see for yourself. Go down to the operations. Go down to the work floor. Do the Gemba walks. And hear from your end users, your technicians, your security staff, people which are on the field. They know the challenges of your business and what requirements your product will need better than anyone. So I think there's a bunch of things you can do to actually improve the success of your product in the end. Yeah.
Thanks for that sharing. I think from a technology provider perspective, one area which we normally do see that leads to a high chance of success in projects at the end customer side is when there's someone who is championing or owning that automation project or robotics project. Usually some of these acquisitions or investment in robotics come about because the C-suite saw something fancy at some trade show and then they are asking the people down the line to find out more about it, and eventually it may lead to a POC or project. But in those cases, usually there is not great buy-in amongst the end users, and that creates a lot of friction in terms of delivery and implementation success. So thanks for sharing some of the insights. Okay, so I have another question for Eugene, and I think this is very relevant because in Singapore, there's this great interests and push towards embodied AI. I've been to several conferences where I think this is the hot topic. From a national strategy and funding perspective at NRP, how do you evaluate which AI-driven robotics projects are ready for commercial implementation, or just projects that are just trying to ride the hype cycle?
Yeah, I guess it's really taken off, hasn't it? I still remember the ChatGPT moment 2022, I think somewhere 2022 December. I think since then, this field has really, really taken off. And I think everyone's wondering when's the next ChatGPT moment for robots. Yeah, I mean, I'm thankful to have been here, at least with NRP since then, and I've really seen such a great leap of progress. So coming back to this hype, I really think it's been a double-edged sword for our field, right? I think I echo what my colleague Dr. Zhang was saying. I think on the good side, it's brought in so much investment, right? The investment surge, it's real, right? The funding is real. And I think this has really accelerated the development in the past 3 years. I think it's cut down the development by who knows how much, right? Could be what was used to take a decade to now 2-3 years development with everybody going into this. So that's the good side. And I think on the other end, then the bane, right, is that it's causing a lot of disillusionment, right? And a lot of inflated expectations on what a robot can do or cannot do, right? And I don't blame the companies, right? Because it's fundraising at all costs now, right? Let's make a great video and let's fundraise the hell out of this, right? And that's the business today. That's where we're at today. I think for us, we try to take a very circumspect look at this development, and I've been to Europe, US, China to look at all the cutting-edge solutions, and I think one rule of thumb to just take away is, does it work in the environment, right? And make them show you, and see for yourself, right? See for yourself if it works. One of the favorite things I like to do when I go see all these demos, I just like to mess with the demos a little bit. Like you move this little thing out of position, or you change the lighting, or you move something, then put something over, obscure some vision, obscure some object. You'll be amazed what happens after that. The whole system breaks down. So yeah, I guess that's where we're at with this field or these current solutions right now. But for us, we're very optimistic. I think that we see a lot of potential in this. We work with the leading researchers that we have in Singapore and the leading companies that we have. And I would say things are really progressing. I mean, beyond the hype. I'm very encouraged with what we're seeing. I think you'll be seeing a lot more of this in the next 5 years. And I think we'll get there. Yeah.
Okay, so warning from Eugene that if you do see him at any trade show at your booth, just be very careful. He may try to trip out your robot. No, but thanks. I think those are very pertinent questions. I mean, I was at CMAT just earlier, I think last year in China, and even in the manufacturing kind of robotics, there's still tentative steps in terms of using humanoids for package delivery, parcel handling, and so forth. And like you said, Dr. Zhang, I think it's still quite early stage, not really for scaling up implementation. Okay, now pivoting to kind of more open questions for the panel. We often talk about the technology, implementing viable solutions requires operator buy-in. How does your organizations respectively approach upskilling and change management to ensure that the workforce embraces these new systems rather than resisting them? So anyone can take up the question. Maybe Cardoso?
Okay, so there's always I guess, every time there's change, there's also resistance to change. And it's natural that everything which is new is unknown, and where we tend to settle to what it's comfortable, what seems to work, what seems to be there, but then as part of us as a society, as humanity, we need to be constantly evolving and striving for new challenges and doing things the better way and looking. So I think there's value to both sides. Stick to what works and also keep innovating, relentless pursuit of improvement. So I think there's a lot about meeting somewhere in the middle in terms of explaining people and letting them know the other side of changing and doing change management and doing things and why you're doing it. Explain the reasons and the motivations why things cannot stay the same. So I think there's a lot of dialogue, listening on the other side about what scares people about change. So I think it's all about a matter of seeing each other's side and then finding a common ground to push forward. So I think there's a lot of that needs to happen.
So maybe just to kind of supplement that question, because in this room we have quite a few students from Singapore Poly. So many of them are, of course, aspiring to enter the workforce and work in the manufacturing automation space. What do you think would be some of the skill sets or mindset that they need to have to be able to have a thriving future career in our industry?
Yeah, sure. So I thought now even from the world is a very different world from when I started working, and I think you can even say that from 5 years, if you have started working before the emergence of AI, there's a lot of that's happening which has never happened before. So I think that if there's one skill and one thing that you should strive to have when you enter, is critical thinking. Right now we have the ability to produce the most information per second that we ever had. But by producing more information doesn't mean we're producing better information. So if there's one skill that you need, and of course behind critical thinking there's a lot, so you need to understand what's your domain, where are you working, so how do I gain the tools and the knowledge so that I can think critically about what the computer is presenting to me, what the AI is showing. Is this really the right? Because one characteristics of AIs, which I think you can all relate, AIs tend to be agreeable. So you tell them something and they usually reinforce what you're telling, and it's very hard even after you push back and tell an AI, an LLM, challenge what I'm saying, within 2 or 3 interactions, AI is agreeing back to you. So critical thinking now, I think it's the most, and it doesn't sound like a hard skill, it sounds like a soft skill, but I think critical thinking, it's the hard skill of the future for anyone working in any domain.
Thank you. And what about you, Dr. Tsang? Because you mentioned that you do work with quite a few interns from various universities. So from your experience having dealt with interns from diverse IHLs and maybe also many different countries, what would be an outstanding attribute that you would encourage our SP students to try to learn? Yeah.
Sure. Actually, I have a slightly different view with my friends here. I still remember, like before when we interview interns every year, I need to give them like written test. On-site interview 1, I give him a project to do, then I decide to bring him in. So for all the SP students here, so I want to share with you today, when we decide to bring an engineer on board or intern on board, we only care one thing. Only one thing. English team is called proactiveness. Chinese team is called 主观能动性. I don't care your background anymore. I don't care your discipline anymore. I don't care anything. I only care you are proactive. Trust me. Because no matter how good at you are programming, cloud can beat you. no matter how good you are at critical thinking, it's very important, but I say follow, if you are proactive, ChatGPT can teach you to be critical thinking, right? So this is the, of course, for big organization, it's slightly different from a startup like us. For us, is as long as you're proactive, the marketer will teach you everything, right? When you go to the field, you will learn everything. Like I give you a very funny example. Last week, when we were in San Francisco, everything we brought from Singapore, we test many times. When we're unboxing, it doesn't work. Okay? My 2 intern students got a panic. They look at me, Dr. Zhang, what should we do? I say, I teach you, be proactive. Just follow the first principle. Open your ChatGPT, right? Then we debug one by one, right? After 30 minutes, everything back to normal, right? So, of course, for our Singapore Poly kids here, right? Just be proactive. Once you be proactive, you will have everything. Because you can learn everything with GPT, with cloud, with the tools. But I also talk to my students is, if you don't proactive, I'm sorry. We have limited resources. I can only spend my time with the proactive kids, right? So this is reality. In the old days, we still spend 6 months, 9 months to train people. In the AI time, this won't exist anymore. No one wants to train you except you are proactive, right? So actually before this talk, I don't know you asked this question. I asked how do we translate the proactive in Chinese? One of the kids here gave me say it's called 主观能动性, right? So this is the, actually this is the only thing we evaluate for the, whether we get you in, right?
Thank you, Dr. Zhang.
So then maybe for the more diplomatic, right? For me, mine will be a more combination of both of them.
Thank you, sir.
Like what Moss Tan yesterday, he mentioned is the mindset, that you have to keep an open mind. Of course, it's a skill set. You need to know how to learn how to at least prompt the ChatGPTs and the cloud as well, some of the simple skill set. And at the end of the day, it's the attitude, right? It's also the proactiveness that we are also looking at for new generations, because moving on with all this new era of AI, there are a lot of things that will be popping up, new opportunities. So bear this in mind, stay open, have an open mind, and then with the skill set, with the right attitude, I think this will then puts you further with a better advantage in today's society. And especially in Singapore, I think our whole entire ecosystems, plus the government, the agencies, has been so supportive, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess there's, in robotics, since we're talking about robotics, right, there's also this thing called the Moravec's paradox. I'm sure some of you would have heard about it, right? Which actually, simply put, is what's very easy for a human is very difficult for a robot, and what's very difficult for robots, actually very easy for a human, right? So if you're talking about jobs, I don't know, but I suspect the last job to be replaced is probably a plumber or an electrician. So if you're thinking about job security, yeah, it's a new perspective for you.
Just to let you know, this question which I just asked is totally unscripted. And the reason being is because I'm trying to read the room, and I realized there are quite a few of you students here. And I was also testing my panel to see whether they are able to answer questions on the fly. And I think that's a great attribute to have, right? To synthesize the knowledge that you have and to be able to respond very well to a question that is relevant to most of the audience over here. Okay, now to cap off this evening, or rather this afternoon, my final question, which again is an open question for anyone, is that if you were to pinpoint one metric, that truly determines whether an automation project has moved from idea to impact, what would that be?
Maybe I'll take this question. Right, if I am going to take just one metric, right, that will be still back to my very first question that I answered, scalability. Because when we all, when ecosystem comes together, innovations can only prove a concept work. And I like, especially Dr. Chang, when you mentioned about, expectation is so high, but actually reality is so low, right? So when we deploy and come up with system that is able to repeat successfully in different customers, different sites, different countries, without compromising in terms of the reliability, in terms of the robustness and stuff like that, that will already mean a success. So scalable is really important. So innovations create possibility, but the metrics by where we can scale will really create the digital transformation, and that's make an idea into a real impact. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So scalability to you is the one key matrix, right? Anyone else? So Mr. Cardoso is from Applied Materials. So at Applied, what is the one kind of measure that you guys may have as a common organization kind of mantra?
Profit. No, I'm joking. So I think this is a bit of an ambiguous word, but there's many ways of measuring quality of the outcome, right? So business quality. So, and quality can mean that your product is better. That's an improvement, a KPI. But it can also mean that your workforce enjoys a better quality of work. So you've actually transformed your business in a way that your workforce has a better experience while doing their work. They feel they're more empowered. They feel there's so many dimensions, which I think the quality of the business running. And ultimately, could be the quality of your product, but I think providing a better quality of life through your workforce, through robotics, that's a very big outcome that we can strive to achieve.
Okay. Would you like to add to it, Dr. Tsong?
Yeah, this time I agree with him. So, yeah, and in our term, we call customer success. Yeah. So in our organization, we don't have sales position. We don't have a business developer position. The only position we have is called customer success manager, right? So in Chinese is 可做可不做就不做，能赚能不赚就不赚。So this is our philosophy. So basically, all my team, rule number one is help other people succeed. Okay. So, so far, fortunately, because we follow this principle, right? So, we are a very small team with 20 people, but you look at our customer portfolio, we have like over 50 Fortune 500 companies be our long-term customer for many, many years, right? So, almost every agency we work with them is, although I reject 9 of them, 9 out of 10 when they came to me, but for the one I take, I always under-promise and over-deliver, right? So from this perspective is making other people succeed, make your supplier succeed, make your colleague, make your customer, most important is customer. So make all of them succeed. Then eventually I say everything will happen naturally and organically.
Yeah, I think if I had one word to describe, I always think that you know something works if it becomes boring. So you might not notice this, but you walk around every day and you see all these different, we're actually surrounded by a lot of successful systems, but nobody stops to take a picture of this sound system or this OHP or what it's called, right? But today if you see robots doing some application today, the commonality is everybody just gather around and take picture with the camera, right? Yeah. So I think many of you all drive. I also drive every day, right? You know, every day I drive past the ERP system. Then I always look at my cash card. I always wait for the day that this thing failed to register. I tell you, it never happens. Never happens. Never.
Yes, it's collecting money.
So that's a great system, right? I mean, if you think about it, it's a complex system that is so much connectivity linked to payment systems, and it never fails. And it's so boring. Nobody ever take picture of ERP gantry. It's a great system. Yeah. So I guess for me, you know, if something works if it becomes boring.
Okay. All right, so I think we come to the conclusion of our panel discussion. I just want to go around for my panel and really appreciate. Will you join us in giving hand? Yeah. All right, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you once again to all our panelists and our moderator for that engaging and insightful discussion. Let's give them another big round of applause. We hope today's discussion has sparked new ideas and offered valuable perspectives that you can carry forward. Before we conclude, we would like to invite all our panelists and moderator to the front of the stage for a group photo. Everyone else, please remain seated. Thank you. You may now return to your seats. As we bring Automation Solution Go and the Regional Industry Networking Conference 2026 to a close, we would like to express our heartfelt appreciation to all who made this event possible. Our speakers, moderators, panelists, industry partners, and most importantly, each and every one of you in the audience. Your participation, questions, and conversations over the past 2 days have made this conference a truly meaningful gathering of ideas, collaboration, and inspiration. We hope you leave today with renewed connections, fresh insights, and a deeper understanding of how we can collectively shape the future of manufacturing and innovation in our region. Now, if you have been here yesterday as well, you know that over these 2 days, we've had fun-filled days with knowledge sharing and exchange. Within this hall and the exhibition booths, we have showcased the great strides made by and the potential of our automation and manufacturing industry. So let's watch this highlight video together to recap these 2 days. Thank you once again for joining us. I am sure we all leave this hall today with good memories. Please take a moment to scan the QR code on screen and share your feedback with us. Your thoughts will help us make future editions even better. We look forward to welcoming you again at Automation Solution Go X RINC 2027, returning next year. Until then, stay curious, stay connected, and continue to drive transformation forward in your industries. If you haven't had a chance to visit our Level 1 booths, please take the chance to visit them before you leave today. My name is Kaman, and it has been my absolute pleasure to be your MC. Thank you once again for being part of this journey with us. Have a safe journey home, and we will see you next year.